Overview of the FATF and the FATF 40 recommendations. The Financial Action Task Force, FATF, is the leading international standard-setting body for combating money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing. Established in 1989 by the Group of Seven, G7 nations, FATF develops global standards that guide governments, regulators, financial institutions, and designated non-financial businesses and professions. The FATF 40 recommendations constitute the internationally recognized framework for AML/CFT compliance and provide comprehensive measures to identify, assess, and mitigate financial crime risks. These recommendations promote a risk-based approach, international cooperation, transparency, customer due diligence, beneficial ownership identification, and effective supervision. Most AML laws and regulations worldwide are influenced by these standards. Risk-based approach is a core FATF principle. A fundamental concept underlying the FATF recommendations is the risk-based approach. FATF recognizes that money laundering and terrorist financing risks vary across countries, industries, customers, products, and delivery channels. Therefore, organizations should allocate resources according to the level of risk rather than applying identical controls in all situations. Higher-risk customers, transactions, and jurisdictions require enhanced due diligence, while lower-risk relationships may justify simplified measures. This approach allows institutions to focus efforts where threats are greatest while maintaining effective compliance. Risk assessments, ongoing monitoring, customer due diligence, and sanction screening are key components of implementing the FATF risk-based framework effectively. Key areas covered by the FATF 40 recommendations. The FATF 40 recommendations address multiple areas necessary for a comprehensive AML/CFT regime. These include criminalizing money laundering and terrorist financing, establishing financial intelligence units, FIUs, implementing customer due diligence requirements, maintaining records, reporting suspicious transactions, conducting sanction screening, and ensuring transparency of beneficial ownership. The recommendations also emphasize supervision of financial institutions and designated non-financial businesses and professions, including casinos, real estate professionals, lawyers, accountants, and trust service providers. Additionally, FATF encourages effective international cooperation, information sharing, mutual legal assistance, and cross-border investigations to combat increasingly globalized financial crime activities. Beneficial ownership and transparency framework. One of the most significant elements of the FATF recommendations is the requirement for transparency regarding legal entities and beneficial ownership. Criminals frequently exploit shell companies, trusts, and complex ownership structures to conceal illicit proceeds and avoid detection. FATF therefore requires countries to ensure that competent authorities can obtain accurate, current, and adequate information regarding the natural persons who ultimately own or control legal entities. Financial institutions must identify and verify beneficial owners as part of customer due diligence procedures. Improved ownership transparency reduces opportunities for corruption, tax evasion, money laundering, terrorist financing, and other financial crimes while strengthening confidence in the global financial system. International cooperation and mutual evaluation process. The effectiveness of FATF standards depends on international cooperation and consistent implementation. FATF evaluates member jurisdictions through a rigorous mutual evaluation process that assesses both technical compliance and operational effectiveness. Technical compliance measures whether a country has implemented laws and regulations consistent with FATF standards. Effectiveness evaluates whether these measures successfully identify, investigate, prosecute, and prevent financial crime. Evaluation reports identify strengths, weaknesses, and areas requiring improvement. Countries are expected to address deficiencies and strengthen their AML/CFT frameworks over time. This process promotes accountability, encourages reform, and helps establish a consistent global approach to combating financial crime. FATF process for raising awareness of high-risk jurisdictions. FATF plays a critical role in identifying jurisdictions with strategic deficiencies in their AML/CFT regimes. Through ongoing monitoring, assessments, and international cooperation, FATF evaluates whether jurisdictions effectively implement AML/CFT standards. When significant weaknesses are identified, FATF publicly highlights those jurisdictions to raise awareness among governments, regulators, financial institutions, and businesses. This process encourages corrective action and protects the global financial system from abuse. Public identification also assists financial institutions in adjusting risk assessments and implementing appropriate controls when dealing with customers, transactions, or counterparties connected to these jurisdictions. FATF Gray List and Blacklist Framework. FATF primarily raises awareness through two public identification mechanisms commonly referred to as the Gray List and the Blacklist. The Gray List includes jurisdictions under increased monitoring that have committed to addressing strategic AML/CFT deficiencies within agreed timeframes. The Blacklist, formerly referred to as high-risk jurisdictions subject to a call for action, includes countries with severe deficiencies requiring enhanced countermeasures. Financial institutions are expected to apply enhanced due diligence, increased monitoring, and additional controls when dealing with listed jurisdictions. These public statements significantly influence international financial relationships, investment decisions, and regulatory expectations across the global financial system. Consequences and importance of FATF public identification. The consequences of FATF public identification extend beyond regulatory compliance and can significantly affect a jurisdiction's economy, reputation, and access to international financial markets. Countries identified as high risk often experience increased scrutiny from financial institutions, reduced foreign investment, higher transaction costs, and limitations on correspondent banking relationships. International organizations and governments may also implement countermeasures to protect their financial systems.